Kia ora koutou, and welcome to the Lockdown Dropdown. Today in the Church of Chug. So what's the Lockdown Dropdown? Today we're talking about drop D. Say you were holding a D and you dropped it. No, I don't know. No, that's not going to work. But it's to do with the E string on your guitar. Okay, drop D is when you take the big thick E string closest to your facial features and drop it down to a D note. Hence drop D, because you're dropping the E to a D. So today I'm using the Turkey-caster.
Magnificent Turkey-caster.
Why is that, you may ask? Did you just ask that? Could one of you just please ask that? Why are you using the Turkey-caster? Oh, why am I using the Turkey-caster? Because it has a fixed bridge, as we say in New Zealand. A fixed bridge. A fixed bridge, as you might say in Australia. It doesn't have the whammy bar. Okay? So it holds tuning better. So if I'm going to drop the E down to a D, the other strings stay in tune better. Often if you do it on the old, I haven't got a name for the blue guitar yet, it's coming, bluey, because it's got the whamulator, the other strings go out of tune. So before I demonstrate how to drop down to D, even though I've just told you how to do it, I want to show you another way to chunk up a chord. Say you're chugging away and you're going, yeah, it's chuggy, but it could be
Chunky.
It could be chunk. You can still chunk it without having to drop D. Say you're playing a C. Say you've learned a power chord. You can chunk it up a little.
Chunk it.
And this important finger is on the 3rd fret of the A string. You can add the 3rd fret of the E, the low E as well. So instead of just, you get, oh,
Chunkin' it.
right? So it's all about chunking it. It's about being chunky while you're chugging. Chunky chugging. Remember to chill. Don't tense up. Chillin', chugging, chunkin'. So dropping down to the D gives you that chunky chunk, and now you can play one finger chords. I'll show you. First I'll just drop down to D using my handy tuning device that I've got strapped to the guitar here. Please don't be one of those guitarists that goes to band practice or rehearsal and tunes up at full volume. You're not as popular as you think you are. If you've got a tuner on your headstock, turn your volume down. If you've got a pedal, hit the pedal and it mutes your signal. Unless you've deliberately routed it so it doesn't, because you're one of those people. Don't be one of those people, be the other people. So now I'm going to drop this down to D from E, and because I care about yous, I'm looking at my tuner so it stays in tune. So now that I've dropped this down to D, the big heavy string, where I would usually play an A power chord, perhaps 5th fret of the E string, 7th fret of the A string, 7th fret of the D string, or even just the first 2 strings. Now, because that string has gone down in tuning, I have to go up 2 half steps to get the same note. So it was on the 5th fret, now it's on the 7th fret of the E string, which means I can now play a power chord with one finger. Chunky chugging, no fingers at all. Rock. There's a D. Do you need to play the high E string when you're playing a D? Nah, forget about it. Mute it with a stumpy finger. Just play a D on the 2nd fret of the G string and 3rd fret of the B string. you can also do your... So it means you can move a whole chord up and down the fretboard a lot quicker than maybe you could if you had to move a whole chord shape. Now it's just one finger on the 2 fattest strings, or maybe 3. Remember, when you hit the open fat string now, that's a D. So if you usually slide up to the hit, that's E. You need to go down 2 frets. So it just takes a little bit of getting used to, but if you want to do some chunky chugging with faster chord movement, it's a really good way to do it. Plus, it's a bit easier for a lot of singers to sing along with if everything's down from E to D. So you can still use a lot of the same chord shapes, especially if you're playing A shapes. But then when you want to go to the really low chuggy stuff, nice one-fingered chords. There's a lot of drop D work in the Musomancer book. There's actually quite a lot of drop D, believe it or not, in the Heavy Blarney albums, because I wanted to blend traditional Celtic folk with chunky chugging. La 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 la. I think that works really well. Yeah, you know it. So drop D gives you a few more options, makes things sound lower and meaner and chunkier. So have a lash. Pinchies and drop D go together really well. So yeah, it's lockdown again in Aotearoa. The Delta variant has made its presence felt. Stay at home and drop some D and lockdown, rock down, drop down. Keep chugging, look after yourself, look after your friends and whānau as well. And we'll catch you back here in the Musomancer's lair sometime soon.
Chug you later.